A battered Iran is quietly looking east. With its air defense network shattered and faith in Russia collapsing, Tehran is signaling a dramatic turn toward China, from missiles to fighter jets, as the region watches to see whether rumors become a historic realignment. As the fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel holds, new signals are emerging that Tehran may be preparing for a strategic shift, one that leans heavily towards China to replenish its battered defenses. The 12-day war inflicted significant damage on Iran's air defense network, exposing gaps that its political and security establishment now view as urgent. But the deeper frustration appears to lie elsewhere, a growing sense in Tehran that Russia, its longtime defense partner, has not delivered when it mattered most. Speculation intensified after Iranian Defense Minister Aziz Nasirzadeh's visit to Qingdao for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, held shortly after the truce with Israel. The timing of the trip has fueled talk that Iran may be courting Beijing for new military hardware, a potential pivot after decades of relying primarily on Russia and, to a lesser extent, North Korea. Rumors of arms transfers first surfaced in July, with reports claiming Iran had obtained Chinese HQ-9B surface-to-air missile systems through a crude oil barter arrangement. Beijing swiftly denied the story via its embassy in Tel Aviv, yet the rumor took on a life of its own inside Iran. Reformist-leaning outlets reported that Tehran had received not only missile batteries, but also long-range surveillance radars and advanced electronic warfare systems. Although Iranian state media avoided the topic, the reporting may have been intended to test public reaction to deeper military cooperation with China. Iran is not unfamiliar with Chinese hardware. In the 1990s and 2000s, Beijing allegedly supplied missile components, gyroscopes, and dual-use materials. More recently, Chinese ships have delivered materials used to produce missile propellant. And in the days following the ceasefire, the Iranian military-linked outlet Defa Press published a glowing appraisal of China's J-10C fighter jet, suggesting its capabilities could help replenish Iran's aging fleet. On September 23rd, hardline MP Abolfazl Zohravarand escalated expectations, claiming China would soon deliver HQ-9 long-range air defense systems. No official confirmation followed, but Iran's political climate is increasingly shaped by frustration with Russia. Moscow's apparent willingness to sell high-end equipment to India, but not Iran, has stirred resentment in Tehran and raised doubts about whether Russia remains a reliable partner. Satellite evidence suggests Iran's defenses suffered heavy losses during the June conflict, particularly in western regions and near nuclear facilities. For Tehran, the operational consequences are severe. The HQ-9B, roughly the Chinese analog to the Russian S-300, could plug critical gaps, and a fleet of J-10C multi-role fighters would mark Iran's first major aviation upgrade in decades. A shift toward China would represent more than a temporary fix. It would mark a fundamental overhaul of Iran's defense procurement strategy, after decades of dependence on Russian hardware and North Korean expertise. Farzan Nadimi, senior fellow at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, WINEP, says Tehran's growing interest in Chinese systems reflects
losing hope it can obtain any military hardware from Russia.
Delays in Moscow's long-promised delivery of Sukhoi 35 fighter jets and its growing focus on India have left Iran feeling sidelined. As a result, Chinese options are increasingly seen as viable and technologically competitive.
Chinese platforms now enjoy a better reputation than they did a decade ago and are often offered as comprehensive packages that can interoperate: hardware, software, radars, air defense, and fighter jets.
For Tehran, whose arsenal remains fragmented, interoperability and adaptability have long been at the core of its military modernization efforts. Yet whether China will provide the systems remains an open question.